So, who's ready for fall? Because I'm not in the slightest. Cuckoo, my name is Anastasiia and welcome to my YouTube channel. So, the month of August tends to be quite uneventful. I mean, everyone is going on vacation, trying to catch a little bit of sun before the September and fall and the sweater weather, which I like, but as I said, I'm not 100% sure I am ready for all of the jazz. But regardless, August came to an end, meaning let's have a look at what has happened. As I already said, it's not a lot, but we had some nice photo shoots, some nice outfits, joined by some celebrities, some magazine covers, campaigns, yada yada. As per usual, for that particular matter, I'm gonna be using my Telegram channel. So let's move into the beginning of August and see what we got there. We had a very strong cover-wise start of the month with Hailey Bieber being the cover of Vogue Japan for the September issue, and as we all know, September issue is one of the most important in the whole Vogue industry. The first and probably the only thing that comes to my mind when I look at this whole cover story is that if you want to make like the weirdest fashion trends work, you have to call Hailey Bieber. I'm not sure how she's doing it, but for some bizarre reason, even like silver hot pants mixed with ultra fluffy knee-high boots seems to work for her. On the cover itself, she's wearing Saint Laurent, and it's probably the most wearable outfit out of the whole bunch. Well, maybe this little one from Miu Miu as well, but other than that, like, we have a pantless trend, we have this weird Chanel knitted jumpsuit that adds plus 10 kilo to everyone and anyone, but once again, Hailey Bieber looks good in it for some bizarre reason. We have low wave and those cartoony shoes, and as I already said, we have crazy, I'm pretty sure it's Prada boots. Moving on to Dior opening yet another Dior Riviera kind of boutique space in Shanghai, and honestly, I never thought about it, but Dior ended up the most Barbified out of the whole brands, like. And I kind of understand it when it comes to doing those boutiques in Malibu or Los Angeles, like, I wouldn't be surprised. But making something like that in Shanghai, it's a Barbification statement for me. Like, honestly, I was kind of betting on either Chanel, because Margot Robbie is their long-term ambassador and it would be stupid not to play on the scheme, or Moschino coming up again with maybe a Barbie revival collection, but no, we've got Dior. It's also funny how it happens, but I feel like for the past couple of years, I start every summer with like Jacquemus visual narratives, and then I end every summer with Saint Laurent. And I don't think it's only me, because the brands, well, accordingly Jacquemus towards the start of the season and Saint Laurent towards the end of the season, are being more active. And Saint Laurent has been dropping lots of their Rivoire, as well as just accessory lines. And what can I say? I love the visuals. For me, it's a picture perfect of summer transitioning into the fall season. In terms of celebrity outfit inspirations, my two favorites always have been Hailey Bieber, who is currently going through her tomato girl aesthetic kind of situation, and Dua Lipa, who is doing kind of the same but more on the Y2K side of things rather than classy girl, old money, quite luxury side of things. Dua Lipa had her birthday party, a number of cutest outfits. I especially love this blue dress. And speaking of quite luxury, Sofia Richie is about to start her own clothing brand, which will be all everything quite luxury. And I'm kind of excited about it, because for me, Sofia Richie is, well, she's a fashion girly, but not much of anything else. It's not very confusing for me that she wants to start the brand, but whether it will meet expectations or it will, you know, follow into the steps of Alexa Chung brands as well as Rihanna brands, we will have to see. However, due to this news, she had not one but two cover stories this month. So the first one was for Vivienne magazine. She wore a Gucci coat on the cover, lots of Saint Laurent, also Versace and a bit of a Tory Burch. I mean, I never thought I would say, but I kind of like her modeling. What she's giving me is like a new, little bit more fresh perspective on the whole Beverly Hills housewives situation. And then we also saw her on the cover of Town and Country magazine, and here she's giving more of like Cruella de Vil, Mills Holly Golightly from the Breakfast at Tiffany vibes. It's totally different, and yet she's kind of nailing that. I mean, they're rather different, but honestly, for not being a model, I totally think she nailed both. Here she was wearing Chanel, Valentino, Gucci yet again, Dior, and Louis Vuitton. So the next cover story I want to talk about is all about shoes, or to be even more exact, all about Louboutin shoes. And here we have like Monsieur Christian Louboutin himself with the model Sara Sampio on the cover of Harper's Bazaar Spain. It's giving 90s, it's giving Tom Ford for Gucci, it's giving Dolce & Gabbana when they only started their brand. And from the 90s we will have to move to the 2000s and just look at this Vogue Brazil cover story with Giselle Bündchen on it and tell me it's not giving you Fast and Furious vibe. Just, think about it, because I honestly feel like she would fit in rather nicely in the upcoming chapters of this story. It's giving late 90s, early 2000s New York City. It's also giving, a mix of Sex and the City, Carrie and Samantha, something along those lines. And on the whole other spectrum of visuals, we have this Vogue Hong Kong photo shoot featuring Havana Rose Liu wearing Philosophy, Saint Laurent, Tom Brown, Maison Alaya. It's just something so impressionistic about those pictures. I just cannot help myself but be drawn to them. And also, how obsessed I am with the red color for the past 3 months, but also because it's clearly not only my obsession but everyone else's as well, including magazine editors and photographers. It's nice to see something other than a red for that matter. And when I do see a photo shoot being focused on another color, well, other than red, like blue here for instance, I just cannot help it, my eyes automatically being drawn to it. As we all have been hearing since probably the beginning of this year, Victoria's Secret is getting ready to do this huge comeback with the show, a new line, new policy, new philosophy, everything new, total rebranding. And am I correct in my understanding that what we ended up having is basically a celebrity ambassador marketing strategy? Because it sure as hell looks like this. Okay, Mr. Novelty, whatever you say. At least the visuals were fine, but then again, it's kind of difficult to butcher up the whole minimalist black and white, and we had celebrity ambassadors visual situation. Also for Vogue Hong Kong, we have this very much so 80s inspired photo shoot featuring Kim Xiao wearing Loewe, Dior, Alice, Schiaparelli, Prada, Balenciaga, Saint Laurent, and White Project. And every time I see an 80s inspired photo shoot, I just cannot help myself but think about this working 9 to 5 music clip, and I just love those photo shoots all the more for that reference. Now that is interesting. Okay, you see, Calvin Klein is a brand that is often used to describe the 90s and 90s minimalism in particular, and here, though they're mixing it with 2000s, but because they're not making it to a radical aesthetic shift, as well as keeping within their DNA with minimal outfits intact, not only does it captures one's attention because it's something slightly different, but it also looks organic and makes sense because they still have their DNA intact. And the fact that it stayed the K-pop star also helps, I suppose. But yeah, that was January for Fall 23 Calvin Klein campaign. Dior had another launch of their home stuff line, and am I the only one thinking that this is Maria Grazia's attempt at her own version of Galliana newspaper print? And yes, I know that he first showcased it not for Dior, but Jean Paul Gaultier brand accordingly, but still, Dior made it famous and tightly incorporated it in its own DNA, because, whatever PayPal centers LVMH, well, we all know it doesn't live all that easy. Moving on with the Calvin Klein Fall 23 campaign, and as we all know, the second big celebrity ambassador of CK at the moment besides Jennie is Kendall Jenner. I love the whole 90s vibes, obviously, and Cindy Crawford references, but if we were doing that, wouldn't it make sense to bring the literal walking talking copy of Cindy Crawford, meaning her daughter Kai Gerber? Then again, maybe that would be way too obvious and surface level, but I don't know. Calvin Klein is generally such a minimal brand with simple clothing, but they always hired very expressive individualities to kind of make up for it. Brooke Shields or Kate Moss, they both worked for Calvin Klein. I'm just not sure if Kendall is successfully bringing out this whole 90s supermodels narrative. Well, to be fair and square, photos are better. However, this is what I meant from the beginning, talking about the whole personality thing. Like, I mean, Alexa Demi here is giving Madonna, she's giving Kate Moss, she is giving a little bit of Barbara Streisand, and you know, this whole rebellious but make it chic aesthetic. And it's working, it's actually working. Also, I don't know about you, but I couldn't help but being drawn to this newest Fall 23 Ferragamo by Maximilian Davis campaign. It's a bit of Balenciaga lookbooks when Dem only started working for Balenciaga, and kind of Louis Vuitton collab with Jeff Koons, but I would 100% remember this particular campaign when the whole season is over. The day finally came when they found aesthetic that actually suits Sydney Sweeney. Never I thought that it would be a Phoebe Philo kind of minimalism, but you know, whatever works, works. So yeah, here we have Sydney Sweeney on the cover of Moss magazine wearing Miu Miu, Alexander McQueen and Carolina Herrera. So I have already told you about Sofia Richie Grange clothing brand being somewhere on the horizon. However, she's not alone in this notion, because we have Kylie Jenner being prepared to launch a quite luxury brand as well, and I'm not excited about this one at all, like whatsoever. Kylie Jenner has never been a quite luxury girl. If anything, she has been everything but quite luxury, meaning the Kardashian-Jenner's clan doing it. Well, basically because it's just a trend. I think that whenever a celebrity or a brand is trying to adapt a trend that is not authentic to their brand without doing any rebranding, it gives just that, unauthentic. And yes, we had Kylie Jenner sporting those more minimal, quite luxury outfits on her Instagram recently, but I honestly do not think that posting different kind of photos for a month and a half is enough to call it a rebranding. But anyway, on that note, we have her doing promo stuff as well, and that is this promo stuff I want to talk about, because it looks like MJ Entertainment has finally decided that some catching up with Mattel has to be done, and thus we have a limited collection of Kylie Jenner Bratz collectibles. I mean, not gonna lie, she's a good pick for the role in terms of both visuals and, you know, a fan base potentially turning into the MJ8 clients. One thing I'm not particularly sold on though is the packaging, and here I mean both physical and media marketing ones. Because honestly, I feel like this product has much more potential than what it was released into. Harper's Bazaar France has really set icons. They're having a month of icons, and to crown this whole notion, we have none other but Catherine Deneuve on the cover of their September issue. I have always enjoyed this kind of back to front double shot covers. There's something paper doll-like about it, don't you think? So from iconic actresses, we are moving to iconic supermodels, because for this month, Vogue US prepared this supposedly iconic get-together or a comeback of 90s supermodels. And I'm saying supposedly because I do not think that they have reached the amount of buzz they were aiming for. I also don't think that creative team did all that great of work, to be honest. Like, the cover itself is fine, and the ladies are working at 11 out of 10 rate. I mean, they're not icons for nothing, but come on. Are you seriously saying that you had a legendary fourth in your hands and the only thing you came up with was an extremely sweetened version of "we're happy and we're all friends" in front of a blue background? Like, seriously? But anyway, as you have already managed to realize, we had Christy Turlington, Naomi Campbell, Cindy Crawford and Linda Evangelista on the cover of Vogue US. And if you're looking for some extra content around this whole cover story, I would suggest this little chat between the models on YouTube, posted by British Vogue. Okay, so there was this meme going around the fashion side of the internet that Kendall Jenner was outmodeled by horses in the recent Stella McCartney campaign. Well, actually, me and my unpopular opinions, I really like this photo shoot. And yes, Kendall is doing her lazy modeling yet again, but come on, nothing new here. What did you expect? Like, it's what she picked and it's what she will stick by, so. Stella McCartney for Winter 23 campaign called Horsepower, and an introduction of a new Stella girl, Kendall Jenner herself. Now we have two more cover stories to talk about, and they are both just slain. However, they're slain in a very different dimensions, and what is even more unexpected is that I would expect those covers and those girls to be switched, because what we usually tend to see from them is, you know, a totally opposite aesthetic. However, the first cover I'm going to be talking about is Zendaya on the cover of Elle. I honestly do not think she can do no wrong, but man, it's basically never a miss for her. Here she's wearing Louis Vuitton on the cover itself. I mean, obviously, she's an LV girl now. Also Michael Kors, Ralph Lauren, Sergio Hudson, Valentino, Alexander McQueen, and Celine. As well as this Dantas dress. Like, this dress, it's doing something to me. I honestly do think that she's the chameleon of our time, like Linda Evangelista used to be for her time, because I haven't even recognized her at these photos at first. Not all the actresses know how to model, but this is indeed a woman of many talents. And the second cover story we should absolutely not be forgetting about is Dua Lipa on the cover of Vogue France, in yet again the least expected amplitude and visual narrative for her, or well, maybe not least expected, but 100% least explored. I mean, it's giving alienated Julia Fox, it's giving Blade Runner, Cloud Atlas, it's giving Matrix, all of it all together. So here she's wearing a Alaïa on the cover, then we have some Courrèges, Givenchy, Bottega Veneta, Prada, Rick Owens, as well as Schiaparelli and J.W. Anderson. The last thing I wanted to talk about today is this new Bottega Veneta Fall 23 by Matthew Blazy campaign, and I have only now noticed that it is actually very much so similar to the Ferragamo in terms of both styling and the color palette. Both of them are giving Barocco, but modern Barocco, like, in a way. So yeah, maybe we will essentially move from the minimalism we know to something absurd at the first glance, like a Baroque kind of minimalism. However, I do think that there is something in there, because, you know, when it comes to mixing the styles, I would be the first one in mind. These were all the news I deemed worthy to be shared with you in terms of what happened within the fashion industry this August. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. You can subscribe to this channel, like this video, check out my other social media, and other than that, I'm not going to be talking much, and I'll see you in the next one. So, bye-bye!